The crisp autumn air bit at Jack's cheeks as he walked hand in hand with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, down the quiet street toward her school. The trees overhead were shedding their golden leaves, each step crunching softly under his worn, military-issue boots. He'd worn those boots through deserts and battlefields, and now, through the daily war of making ends meet. Life after service hadn't been easy. The transition from soldier to civilian came with sleepless nights, mounting bills, and a gnawing worry about the future. His part-time construction job barely covered the basics, but it was all he could find that allowed him to be there for Lily. Jack glanced down at her, her small backpack bouncing with every step, her smile bright as she chattered about a school art project. He forced a warm grin, listening intently, not wanting her to sense the heaviness pressing on his shoulders. She was his anchor, his reason to keep going. Each laugh she gave felt like sunlight breaking through the cold. They stopped at the school gate, and Lily gave him a quick hug before running off to join her friends. Jack stood for a moment, watching her disappear into the crowd. A part of him wished he could freeze this moment, her innocence untouched by the struggles he faced. Pulling his jacket tighter, he turned toward the bus stop. Another long day of hard labor awaited, but he told himself, as he always did, that as long as she was happy, he could carry any weight. As Jack made his way back from a quick grocery stop, the sound of raised voices caught his attention near the school playground. It wasn't the happy chaos of kids at recess, this was sharp, tense. He quickened his pace, his instincts kicking in before his thoughts could catch up. Just beyond the chain-link fence, a small girl stood with her back to the wall, clutching her backpack like a shield. In front of her loomed a much older, taller boy, his face twisted in a cruel smirk as he yanked at her bag. She tried to back away, but there was nowhere to go. A few other kids watched from a distance, whispering but too afraid to step in. Without hesitation, Jack pushed open the gate and strode toward them, his voice calm but carrying the weight of quiet authority. "Hey, enough." The boy froze mid-motion, startled by the tall, broad-shouldered man in the weathered jacket. Jack stepped between them, his presence alone making the bully take a step back. He turned to the girl, lowering himself to her eye level. "You okay?" he asked gently. She nodded, though her eyes glistened with tears. "You're safe now," he assured her, his tone steady and kind. The boy muttered something under his breath and walked away, his bravado gone. The girl hesitated, then wrapped her arms around Jack in a quick, grateful hug. In that moment, she was just a scared child. And he was simply someone who refused to stand by and watch kindness lose. That evening, Jack was at home, stirring a pot of soup while Lily colored at the kitchen table. The day had been long, and the warmth of the small apartment felt like a quiet refuge from the chill outside. He was just about to call her for dinner when a firm knock echoed through the door. Jack frowned, he wasn't expecting anyone. Wiping his hands on a towel, he opened the door to find a sleek black car parked at the curb, its headlights casting a glow in the early darkness. Standing in the doorway was a tall, well-dressed woman in a tailored coat, her expression a mix of composure and emotion. "Mr. Carter?" she asked softly. He nodded, cautious but polite. She stepped forward, holding out her hand. "I'm Emily Grant, you helped my daughter today." Jack's mind flashed back to the frightened little girl in the playground. Before he could say anything, Emily's eyes glistened. "She told me everything. I can't thank you enough. You didn't just protect her, you made her feel safe." Jack shifted awkwardly, unused to such attention. "Anyone would have done the same," he murmured. But Emily shook her head. "No, not everyone would." It was then she revealed something he hadn't expected: her daughter was the only child of the CEO of one of the city's largest companies. Jack blinked in surprise, unsure what to say. Emily glanced toward Lily at the table and smiled faintly. "Men like you are rare, Mr. Carter. I think it's time someone noticed." A week later, Jack was called to an office in one of the tallest buildings in the city. The lobby alone felt worlds apart from his daily life, marble floors, gleaming glass walls, and a quiet hum of importance in the air. Emily Grant was waiting for him, this time in a bright, sunlit conference room. She invited him to sit, her tone warm but purposeful. "Jack," she began, "I've thought a lot about what you did for my daughter. You didn't know who she was, yet you stepped in without hesitation. That kind of courage, that kind of heart, is exactly what I need in my company." Jack blinked, unsure where this was going. Emily leaned forward. "I want you to lead our corporate security team. Full-time salary, benefits, and a future worth building on." The offer hit him like a wave. For years, he'd been scraping by, doing whatever work he could find. This wasn't just a job, it was stability, dignity, a chance to give Lily the life she deserved. I don't know what to say," Jack murmured. Emily smiled. "Say yes. People like you should be leading, not struggling." For the first time in a long while, Jack felt the weight on his shoulders begin to lift. He realized that one moment of doing the right thing, without expectation, had opened a door he never imagined existed. And behind that door was not just a career, but a new chapter for both him and Lily. A few weeks later, Jack stood in his new office, sunlight pouring through the tall windows onto a desk that felt far too polished to belong to him. On the wall above it, pinned with care, was Lily's crayon drawing of the two of them, hand in hand, smiling under a bright yellow sun. It was the first thing he'd put up, a quiet reminder of why he was here. From his doorway, he could see through the glass into the company daycare. Lily was inside, sitting cross-legged on the floor, laughing with a group of new friends as they built a tower of colorful blocks. Her laughter carried faintly into the hall, pure and unguarded. Jack felt something stir in his chest, a mix of relief, pride, and gratitude. The endless nights worrying about rent, the strain of balancing work and fatherhood, the silent hope that things might one day get better, all of it had led here. Emily passed by, giving him a nod and a knowing smile. This wasn't charity. She'd made it clear she valued him for his integrity, discipline, and heart. But Jack knew deep down that the real victory wasn't the office or the paycheck, it was the security, the safety, and the future this meant for his daughter. He took a deep breath, letting the moment sink in. Life had changed not because he'd chased opportunity, but because he'd chosen to do what was right when it mattered most. And that single act of kindness had rewritten both their futures forever.